Tara Reade, the woman who accused Joe Biden of allegedly sexually assaulting her in 1993, wants to set the record straight on one misreported fact. Her college education, specifically claims that she lied about graduating and working at Antioch University in Seattle, reported in many major media outlets, including the New York Times, the Washington Post, and CNN.
Joining us now to discuss this friend of the show and D.C. Bureau Chief at the Intercept, Ryan Graham. Great to see you, Ryan.
Good to see you, Ryan.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
So this was significant because there was this whole effort to completely discredit Tara, and this was one of the most significant claims that was made against her, that she'd essentially lied about her college education and then had been using that fake credential to serve as a witness in court as an advocate for victims of domestic violence. The truth is much more complicated, it seems, than it was portrayed in a lot of these media outlets. Could you just outline Tara's side of the story and what you were able to uncover?
Right. So, and there are a number of kind of interlocking things here. So, Tara went to a bunch of different colleges before finishing at Antioch University in Seattle, and then going to Seattle Law School, University of Seattle Law School, and then coming back and becoming a part of the faculty at Antioch. There's no question that she went to the Seattle University Law School. The law school says that publicly. There's no question that she went to Antioch. The big question came: did she graduate? And the New York Times and others reported that Antioch University officials said that she did not graduate. What the Times added to that is that she knew she hadn't graduated, and she was harboring a secret, throughout her entire time at law school, that she had kind of faked her way into law school without the credentials. She, the entire time, said that she was part of a protected program that was related to a legal name change and legal Social Security change that made it difficult for her to marry up all of the different credits that she had gotten at different colleges throughout the years, and that there was a private arrangement made between Antioch and the law school. She spent the last year through lawyers getting records from Antioch and the law school. And there are, in fact, records in the files that do indicate that there was some type of arrangement between the undergraduate institution and the law school that is similar to the one that she described.
So talk to us at the time about how these fact patterns, which were misreported there by the Times, were used to discredit her allegations. Right. So immediately after Antioch said that she didn't graduate, the law school came out and said, whoa, you didn't graduate? If you can't prove that you graduated, we're going to take your law degree away. After that, the Monterey County District Attorney, where she had testified in just under a dozen domestic violence trials, said, we're going to investigate her for perjury. So that pretty much demolished her ability to be heard on anything at that point, because anybody who didn't want to hear her out could just say, look, this is somebody who's being investigated for actual perjury. She might go to prison for lying. So there couldn't be a much more discrediting moment in somebody's journey than that. Now the law school has since backed off its claim. The DA has concluded its investigation and said that they're not pressing any charges against her. The school still says that they've softened their claim, but now they say, according to our records, she was not conferred a degree. But it's all caught up in this question of whether or not she finished this 60 credit kind of life learning project that Antioch offers. In other words, she spent time working in the California state legislature and also obviously in the United States Senate. And if you write a paper around that, you can get credits for that towards graduation. If she got that effectively, it means she would have graduated. What's most interesting is that she then, for 3 years, served on the affiliate faculty of Antioch, evaluating other students, prior learning projects. So Antioch's claim is that that she didn't complete her prior learning project, but then yet they still hired her, shortly thereafter to evaluate other students' projects. Although they don't quite make that claim, what they say is that they don't have a record of it. They're not known for terribly good record keeping anyway. But that was the other claim. The school was very definitive in saying
She was never on our faculty. She did a few hours of administrative work. They were quite dismissive in what they said publicly. But I obtained about 4 different records through her attorney that show that, in fact, she did hold this particular position and that this position was part of the faculty.
Yeah.
I think there's a broader story here, whatever you think about Tara's claims with regards to Joe Biden about who we believe. And as you allude to in your piece, Tara's life has been messy. She was a victim of domestic violence. She had to change her name. She had to change schools. She's been a member of the working class, of the working poor, and she's struggled at times, most of her life financially. And that messiness was used by the media aggressively to completely discredit her and render her claims unbelievable. You don't see that same ability with people who, get the college degree and they've got the nice life and they come from a privileged background and they sort of speak the language that these same reporters speak. Talk to that piece of the story, because that's why I think it's really important.
Sure. I mean, you said it. You said it well. If you went to, one of the best prep schools in Washington, D.C., and then you have a PhD and now you're a professor at a Stanford affiliated facility, people aren't really going to go digging that deep into your background. It was unusual that the undergraduate degree even came up because there was no question that she had graduated from law school, and that she served as an expert witness in these different trials. And so in order to graduate from law school, you have to have graduated from undergraduate. So trying to undercut that is almost like going to somebody who has a PhD and then checking to see if they actually completed their master's credits or seeing if they completed their undergraduate credits. What the highest completion that you have is the one that matters. And if you have a PhD, it doesn't matter if you have a high school diploma. And the media's kind of unwillingness to do the work to disentangle all of the messiness that you described is reflects kind of an ickiness, like a hands-off approach. Like, this is such a mess. We don't want to have to sort through all these different documents. Like, she went to at least 4 colleges before Antioch, potentially 5, and the records are difficult to piece together. Different Social Security numbers, different names, different states. And different states have different credit systems. California does these, semesters, whereas Washington State does these quarter semesters, and it spans over about 10 years. It is a mess, but millions and millions and millions of people's lives are very much like that, and there is a truth behind it. In 1998, she did get what's known as a Tarasoff warning, which is that she and her daughter were facing a significant threat to their safety and to their lives. And she did, in fact, move through these different domestic violence shelters from California to Washington State. So, it's hard to know precisely what happened. But to come out for the New York Times in particular to say she was lying is stating with way too much confidence something that they just can't know. And the willingness to be able to state that is revealing.
Yeah, and I remember. I mean, I remember even people trying to use against her and make it seem sketchy and suspicious that she had the name change, which again was a result of her being a survivor of domestic violence. I remember interviews with her landlords. I mean, they just went above and beyond to try to destroy her. And I think this piece that you've zeroed in on is really important, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep. You got it.
Coming up is President Biden giving New York Governor Andrew Cuomo exactly what he wants. We're going to talk about that when Rising returns.